Something hunts these mountains, shaped from myth. Formed by the spirit of the mountain man, he lives by the way he hunts. Born of the mountains, blood of the Indian, he survives by Hawken and longbow. He's alone, he's free, he's forged by the elements. Journey with the last of a breed, Sasquatch Mountain Man. Laramy Sasquatch Miller set out to trek the trace of his mountain men forebears, to seek the way of life sought by the enterprising young men of centuries past who were bound to set their eyes on the peaks of the shining mountains. He's seen white death and risen to tell the thrilling tale.
I live in the middle of nowhere in the Rocky Mountains. You look around, this is my home. I was born and raised in the mountains. Brought up living off the land, learning all the ways of Mother Nature. My horse is my best friend. I'm a sucker for a challenge. You could drop me off 100 miles from civilization and I'd be tickled pink. I've got the same instincts and the same blood as 100 years ago. Like they say on old Jeremiah Johnson, Rocky Mountains is the marrow of the world.
For a class of young men of restless disposition, the life in the 1820s and 1830s in the East lacked true savor. They could bust sod or cooper a barrel, but for them that was no way to live. They heard of the far west and legends of Ole from the grizzly, the elk or wapiti, Tatanka the buffalo, and especially the beaver, brown gold. They gathered their trappings of rifle, hatchet, knife, bedroll, and sound horse and headed to where the setting sun lit the snow-saddled summits. Even if it meant never seeing home again, they were determined to break trail to the undiscovered lands of the Rockies and beyond. It's the same spirit that informs the life today of Laramy Miller. For Laramy, his saga of the mountain man's life along the backbone of the continent begins in the extreme northwest.
We're in Sasquatch country. We're in the farthest northwest corner of British Columbia. We're after huge Canadian moose, biggest in the world. 4 out of the top 5 in the record book have all come from around here. That's what we're after.
Laramy's cow calling draws the attention of the competition.
There's a bull grunting right over here. Real little bull, we don't want him, but it's pretty neat to watch him. Time to go find Big Boy Bullwinkle.
To call in bull moose, Laramy needs a chorus of inviting and challenging sounds.
You hear that?
The largest deer in the world, with antler palms the size of tabletops.
About a high 57, 58-inch bull. I'm tickled to death.
Fresh moose meat on the fire. But in the darkness comes a hunger on four clawed paws, prepared to take whatever it needs.
Get out of here!
Laramy Miller's skill set, gathered from the knowledge of the mountain men and Native Americans, can in even the small ways spell the difference between life and death.
See, if you look in there, there's a little piece of meat attached to the top of the trigger. What's going to happen is that mouse or pack rat or squirrel is going to come around here. He's going to see that and say, oh, there's dinner. He's going to go in there to grab it, and it's going to trip that trigger. The branch is going to swing back, pull this out from underneath, and it's going to squish him. Voila! This would be a great place for them bears to stay out of the rain. They got all kinds of berries. That's what these bears are eating. Soapberry. It's bitter. They're very bitter.
Knowing all that the land can provide may mark the route to survival, especially in the time of white death. Up here, white is not the only color that death can come in.
There's only about 40 yards. There, that's a good old Colorado cat.
Sasquatch is brought to you by Honda Power Sports. For great deals on gifts that go, it's go time at your Honda dealer.
In the extreme northwest of Mountain Man country, Laramy Miller takes the largest of all the world's deer with his Hawken gun. Up here, the shades of death go beyond white.
That's exactly what you want right there. It's about 40 yards. It's a bow hunter's dream if it was a good boar. Too bad it's a sow.
From one of the biggest animals to shamble on the earth, Laramy celebrates the capture of one of the smallest.
What do we got here? We got a mud-seasoned red squirrel. It's gonna be red squirrel pancakes tonight.
For Laramy, even in the meat of one squirrel is the taste of all the wild. Grizzly country.
Spotted the big bear that's been playing Houdini with us here the last week.
The Sasquatch way is the challenge of a single-shot muzzleloader.
He's got to be around here somewhere. Do you see the bear? I did.
Yards, one grizzly, one shot, one misfire. The only thing lying in front of a deadly confrontation is a fresh copper cap. Now, get ready. It may not be done. Powder, ball, cap, and keep your nerve.
Crazy. If that ain't a rush, there ain't nothing. It's been raining like a son of a gun here, though. I'm trying to get this bear. No black powder. Pulled the trigger and went pop. That bear heard it and standing up looking could have turned bad real quick.
The monarch of the mountain. But the trail goes on from there to the heart of the mountain man's life, to where the beaver call from the ponds and streams, "Take me, take me." Hundreds of years of trapping skills are now brought to bear.
Awesome. These conibear traps are instant death. Look at that. That's trapping at its finest. Look at them chompers. Imagine that latching onto your leg. Wouldn't feel too good.
But Laramy's trap sets take even more elusive and more impressive game.
I can see it from here. We got something.
And that something is a fisher.
Look at that thing. You can see he's been eating, look at that, porcupine quail. They're one of the only animals that'll actually eat a porcupine. The only other thing I know of is a mountain lion. Things are pretty. It's like a baby Wolverine on steroids. That is cool.
In the high country, the snows have come. And with the snows, the time to hunt wapiti, the elk.
We saw a bull and some cows in here. They moved real early, before daylight. This is about 3 hours old, probably, maybe 4. You know how you tell how fresh elk sign is? You taste it. And if it's chewy or slimy, then you know it's fairly fresh.
File that under the category of don't try this at home. No, Laramy doesn't really recommend tasting elk droppings.
He's about 80 yards and don't even know we're here. I'm gonna whistle and hopefully he'll stand up. There, that's a good old Colorado cat.
Laramy's trail has led to moose. In the realm of the grizzly, he's stared into the face of death. Now, with fresh snow blanketing the ground, he means to take the lordliest of the deer, the American elk.
He's about 80 yards and don't even know we're here. I'm gonna whistle and hopefully he'll stand up. But I am tickled to death, and he is gonna eat wonderful. It's been one of those hunts. We got all the snow and the weather, and we had to work a little bit for this guy, but it finally all panned out.
Laramy accepts the same risks that his mountain men forefathers did. Along with White Death, there is the constant threat of carnivores.
We got the dogs that struck up the track over here. They're heading down into this nasty canyon. People think, line hunting's easy. You go out there and you run with dogs and you train them, and that's it. That ain't even close to the story. I mean, we've been riding through brush all morning, just my legs are all tore up. It's fun, I love it, but it's far from easy. We got the dogs right down here waiting to see if they can tree that line. If not, we're gonna be going through some more brush.
It's a brutal march through thick brush, listening for the echoes of the hound's howls.
Hear that? It's music to my ears.
Before Laramy can loose an arrow, the big cat jumps the tree, the frenzied dogs in pursuit.
Now we gotta walk even more.
A feathered shaft flies true.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's a good old Colorado cat. Look at them things. I'd like to get chomped on by those. You look at this Tommy, you can tell he's been fighting like crazy. He's got scars all over his head and his ears. Got a big chunk missing. Got a bunch of bald spots. There's another good Tom in here running around that these boys been going at it.
For Laramy, it's another fur to flesh, and the favorite meat of the mountain men, fresh mountain lion.
Holy cow.
Sasquatch is brought to you by Honda Power Sports. For great deals on gifts that go, it's go time at your Honda dealer.
Against the vistas of the shining mountains, Laramy Miller has set his feet along the trail of his mountain men and Native American forebears, carving out a way of life with Hawken and longbow. Now comes the final chapter, the gilt-edged page of the mountain man's journal, the hunt for Tatanka the buffalo. For the Native American, the source of all wealth and survival. For Laramy Miller, the most revered of all the game of the plains.
Buffalo, they're about 50 yards right over this little knob. I'm gonna come walking up and just kind of sway back and forth like a buffalo, see if I can get to 20, 30 yards from them. As you can see, there's 4 bulls and some cows right here. You know, these buffalo, they've got thick skulls. Back in the day, whenever a buffalo would charge, people would try to shoot him in the head, and it doesn't do nothing to him. Their skull is so thick you can't penetrate it. You want to try to hit them right above the heart, right in the lungs. Usually that does the trick.
Laramy's hunt must be in the traditional way. In terms of numbers and grandeur, no animal ever matched the buffalo.
Couldn't quite get close enough to them with the rope. They got real itchy, so I'm going to try a different scenario. Hopefully they don't charge.
The greatest threat posed by the buffalo comes from cows with calves. Nothing will dissuade them from protecting their young.
That cow really doesn't like me being here. She thinks I'm a threat to her calves. Cows are probably twice as dangerous as the bull because there's a couple calves in there. So, kind of a tricky situation.
As the cow turns away, Laramy continues to coyote crawl into longbow range of the herd bull. thousands of years of hunting tradition are now drawn into a taut bowstring.
Holy cow. I'll tell you what, them are some tough critters right there. Look at that thing. You imagine back in the day, them Indians, they'd probably kill a dozen or more buffalo in one hunt. I feel sorry for them. That's a lot of work. You got 1,800 pounds right here, and they used every single piece.
And for Laramy, it has been about using every piece, every last scrap of life, about breaking trail to the far lands to see what lies beyond the tall peaks. On his journey, he's faced the trials of prairies and forests, valleys and streams, canyons and clouds. He's danced in the arms of white death and lived to tell the tale. And ahead lies still more empty places on the map to set his sights on his ongoing quest to find the heart of the Shining Mountains.